We're here at the Guru Prakash Gurdwara Sahib Baba Fateh Singh Baba Zorawar Singh in Middle England in the city of Leicester, and I'm here along with all of these other good people to see Snatam Kaur, the Grammy-nominated musician from Oregon in the United States of America. She's here with her record label Spirit Voyage Records as part of the Celebrate Peace Tour. We're going to try and get a few words with her. Welcome to both of you to the United Kingdom. Let me extend the warm welcome of all the English people. Thanks very much for coming here to see us. I'd like to just begin talking to you, Snatam, a little bit about your early upbringing and whatnot. Could you just tell us a little bit about how you got into the Sikh way of life?
Okay. Well, I was born and here I am. Both of my parents studied Kundalini Yoga with the Sri Singh Sahib Ji, and then they were interested in the Sikh path. And so when I was born, they were interested and they started to do some of the things, and then pretty much very young age, they were full practicing Gursikhs, and then I was full practicing Gursikh. And what they taught me was how to do Kundalini Yoga and meditation to deepen my relationship with the Guru and with my soul. That was what they really taught. And both of them were musicians. My father played tabla and my mom's the vaja and singing. And so this was my upbringing.
I should mention Bhai Hari Singh was actually your mother's musical teacher, if that's correct.
Yes.
And he then became your musical teacher or your musical inspiration?
He definitely became my musical teacher and inspiration. Yeah.
Okay.
And his family were my introduction really to, Punjabi Sikhs. And I found that I was just embraced immediately. And from that time when I was 6, I just had a natural connection. I mean, I don't think to myself, a person with, brown skin and, I'm a whitey or, Gora Sikh. I don't have those thoughts. I think, Gursikh, and, they just were very relaxed and loving. And, so I've had a connection with Punjabi Sikhs ever since.
Bringing in Guru Ganesha Singh here now, you're the founder of Spirit Voyage Records, and you were responsible for Snatam's first venture into, releasing something from a musical point of view. Can you tell us a little bit about that, please?
Yeah, well, she had done some garage recordings, which were quite good because anything she sings on is quite good. But I was a good friend of her parents, and met her when she was maybe 3 years old. And even at that time, she was walking around singing tunes. And by 5 or 6, I started to, realize that she had an incredible musical destiny. And she'd been playing, and we'd been playing off and on over the years at the gatherings. There's summer solstice, winter solstice. Sometimes I was in the Bay Area. I lived in the Bay Area for a while near her and her family. And we'd play a little music, me strumming the guitar and her playing harmonium in a sadhana. And I had this sense that she was just had an incredible destiny that just was needed to unfold. And then in late '99, we were playing together at I had a 1 a.m. slot in Aransa by Kirtan. And it was about 11:30, and I'm thinking it would be nice to have some musicians to play with. And she was sitting under the big top with singing a song or two with Livtar Singh, who was a very dear friend of ours. And so I invited them to join me for my 1 a.m. slot, and they were kind enough to agree. And then we sat down and we said, well, what are we going to play? And they said, well, they just wrote a song, which is called At the Feet of the Teacher, about Sri Singh Sahib Bhai Sabarbhajan Singh Khalsa Yogi Ji. And I started strumming along with them, and we all looked at each other. It was so beautiful. I don't know about them, but tears were pouring out of my eyes. And so at the end of the song, I looked at them and I said, because I've been fortunate to have a successful sales training business into the software industry, but always had this musical dream and vision in my heart. And so I looked at them and I said, okay, right after the winter solstice gathering, I'm gonna schedule some studio time with Liv Singh, who had a company called Invincible Recording in Phoenix. He's a very excellent producer. And we're gonna go in and we're gonna make an album. And they went, sure, you've been talking about this for years and years. No, I said, no, this time I'm serious, we're gonna do it. and I'm going to call you right after solstice and give you the dates. And sure enough, a few days after solstice, she got the phone call, Liftar got the phone call that the weekend of January 2021, 2000, the beginning of the millennium, I had a scheduled studio time, and we went in. And it was quite a hard opening weekend for all of us. And 2 albums were born from that weekend. It took us a few months to finish them, but we made Reunion by the Peace Family, and the Peace Family was Sonata, myself, and Liftar. And then we made To Heaven and Beyond, which was a song, because I had told them, let's each bring 2 of our own songs, and we'll do an album. But that To Heaven and Beyond piece was so beautiful, I said, that deserves to be an album on its own. So it's kind of like her first solo album, even though we're kind of in the background on that.
Well, yeah, I worked for Peace Cereals, and it was actually a company founded by Sri Singh Sabji. Right. And they give 10% of their profits to peace organizations. So just in the way Dust Fund is, 10%. Yeah. So 10% is actually quite a lot of money. Mm. And they give grants to peace organizations like Habitat for Humanity, who are really doing work for peace on the planet. And so I was working in Peace Cereals, and the music started to take off as Guru Ganesha Singh Ji was elaborating on. And so I wrote a letter to the Sri Singh Sahib, and I said, please, can I go do music full time? And he said, no, do both. Right. So I had 2 full-time jobs, really stretching. And then finally, he wrote me a letter and said, it's all arranged, it's all going to be taken care of, but just, keep your connection. Keep your connection to Dharma, to serving the Dharma, and, to Peace Cereals. So through that meditation, I realized, and Guru Ganesha Singh and I decided to ask the CEO of Peace Cereals, Kartar Singh, if he would be interested in a peace tour. Right. And he was.
And so that's why we're here today.
Oh, wow. And that's why we're here today, really, is because of that. And when we're on tour, we actually do give grants. We give peace grants in the concerts, and we do a lot of community service where we go and play music in hospitals, old people's homes, and schools.
Jails, believe as well.
Jails. Yeah. Incarcerated youth. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's something that doesn't seem to happen a lot. So, just telling us a little bit about that. I mean, playing to prison inmates, people who potentially could be serious criminals. And how do you find that? Does it?
Serious criminals. Yeah.
They are serious criminals.
Yeah.
And do you find that can you actually visually see an impact by the end of a show with them?
Yeah, there's a vulnerable spot in everyone, and there's and something about when Snatam sings, if that vulnerability is penetrated.
Yogi Harbhajan Singh was such a remarkable personality, had so much of an impact on people, and since his departing, we lost 3 very heavy people that year, that departed from the earth, and it's once they've gone you realise what you're missing out on. But obviously he's had a huge impact on you. You described the sound current, the nad that comes through in your music. Explain something to us, just a little bit about that in your own words. What is the nad?
Okay. Well,
huge question.
Yes, I know. Well, the nad, first and foremost, is singing from your heart. First and foremost, so the heart. And that's what the Sri Singh Sahib taught me. And that's what I do. I every time I sing kirtan, I try to get to my heart. And in that way, to other people's hearts. And that's it. Nad. So nad means, ad means the primal, and na means no, the finite. So nad is when the infinite is expressed in the finite of the human body. So that is nad, and the nad is carried in the Sri Guru Granth Sahib. The nad is carried in our banis, and that's why I'm so dedicated to getting Gurumukhi, Gurbani out, the Shabad Guru out. Because in the spirit of Guru Nanak, the world needs needs it, needs us.